Good afternoon, everyone. Carolyn Russin here, professional life coach. Thanks for joining me today. Wanting to talk about people pleasers. And yes, I'm sure everyone in my Facebook group, with probably the odd exception, we are all people pleasers. Hi, Karen. Which is why we're here, because it's so frustrating, because all we want to do is make people happy and do the right thing. Hi, Debbie. And, feel like we've been successful in helping others. But what happens is we are sacrificing ourselves when we do that. So people pleasers, why? Why do we do this? If it creates so much feeling that lack of joy, or we're not fulfilled, why would we do this? And so I jotted down a few notes when I was thinking about this the other day. I thought, okay, what do we really need to talk about? Why is that? When we catch ourselves saying yes for things that we then regret, give me a thumbs up if you've ever done that. You've said yes, somebody asked you, can you help me with such and such, or can you do this or that? And you said, yeah, sure. And as soon as those words are out of your mouth, it's like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I offer to do, help them out? And not that you don't want to help people, but you know what that means as far as time and effort and all that is concerned. And we all do that. We all do that. But it's that messaging that we've had growing up that as women, we are expected to sacrifice. We are expected to sacrifice different things for the sake of our marriage, our relationship, our kids, our careers, whatever it is. We are supposed to sacrifice. And that if you are a good woman, you will make that sacrifice. That's kind of the messaging that most of us got as we grew up. So now when we try to go against that grain, it's hard, and it makes us leaves us feeling uncomfortable or kind of icky. And, we just don't like disappointing other people. But when we don't disappoint others, we essentially disappoint ourselves. Because when we are constantly giving to other people, we can't prioritize ourselves. It's impossible. And so that's why we are lacking that joy. We are lacking that fulfillment. And because we're always putting other people first. When we do that, we don't have enough time or energy to do it all. Even though many of us try and do it, but we know it's pretty tough. So I've jotted down a few thoughts as far as, okay, so here we are. We're in this situation in our lives where, yes, we are people pleasers. Now what? How can we change this? And so I want you all to start thinking about acknowledging your own worth. That if other people can't see your worth, it doesn't mean it's not there. You are enough just as you are. So to be enough doesn't mean you have to do all these other things for all these other people for you to feel like you are enough. No. You are enough right now. Wherever you're sitting, standing, walking, whatever you're doing right now, whatever you're doing at this moment in time, you are enough. Again, that's something that as women, we have not heard a whole lot of. So I want you to hear that today from me. Yes, today, right now, in this moment, you are enough. You don't have to prove to other people. And so then that tends to go into the next one, which is about setting boundaries. And you've heard me talk about this time and time again, but it's a must. We must set these boundaries for ourselves. And that's how we show respect for ourselves. And that's how we teach other people how we expect them to treat and respect us. Because if it's always, yes, oh, can you do this? Yes, can you do that? Grandma, can you babysit the kids tomorrow? Oh, sure, no problem. Meanwhile, Grandma's got all these plans she now has to change. Oh, Grandma, can you babysit the kids the next day too? Oh, sure. And meanwhile, Grandma's having to change all her plans yet again. What is it teaching your kids? It's teaching them that, yeah, grandma can change everything anytime she wants, no problem. What she does isn't important. And then when we feel drained time and time again, we have taught these people how to treat us. So that's what boundaries are for. It's to teach other people how we want to be treated. If we have no boundaries, they're going to treat us however they'd like. And I don't mean in a mean way. They, I'm sure, love and adore you and all that, but they are going to keep taking and taking and taking, and that's why you are lacking in that joy and lacking in that fulfillment piece. Learning to say no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. Because sometimes we just can't. And let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where you actually did say no, and probably when you first said it, hi Erica, probably when you first said it, you felt like uncomfortable, like, oh, I'm going to be letting these people down, or what are they going to think of me? But then after a moment, 2 or a minute or 10 minutes, half hour, whatever, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I just said no. And they listened to me. And it worked. And how empowering it can be when you actually do say no. Get past the guilt, because you'll feel guilt, because that's how we've been ingrained and trained. But then it's like, oh, and maybe some of you have never tried it. It's time. It's time to use the N word, no, and to protect yourself. So, and I often say about start saying no to little things. It's tough to jump right in and say no to something major. Just, test the waters and start gaining your confidence by saying no about the little things. And again, when you start doing it, you're going to be, oh yeah, this is what Carolyn was talking about. It feels empowering. The next thing I want to talk about is your self-care, prioritizing self-care. And again, these are things we talk about all the time. And I know when I talk to people, oh yes, I do self-care. And when I actually ask them, okay, what is it you do? And when do you do this? It tends to be more talk than action. I'm guilty of it too. I'll be honest. There's times I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. And I don't. But it's prioritizing it. Like, this is not a choice. We need to look after ourselves. If this were our children and we thought that there were certain things they had to do for their own well-being, we would be on them and making sure that it was done. We need to show the same respect for ourselves. So whether it's a hobby, exercise, just taking a quiet moment for yourself, these have to be non-negotiable things. Non-negotiable. And you've got to make time that these actually happen. And I would even challenge you to, if you have a journal or even on your phone, write down every day, what did you do for self-care? Do this for a week. I don't mean this has to be done, for the whole year or anything like that. Do it for 1 week and start seeing what is it you're putting down. Are you even putting things down? Because maybe by the end of the day, you're like, oh crap, yeah, I didn't do any self-care. But when you have it in writing, it becomes more obvious, opposed to, oh yeah, I do that. Oh yeah, I do that. Well, what is it that you're doing? Or maybe you'll start seeing some really good patterns that you can just grow from those and move forward. But I would challenge you for 1 week, just write it down. Even just scratch a piece of paper, whatever, just, each day. What did you do for self-care? You know what, even drop down below. What's your favorite thing to do for self-care? Because often when we share these things, it helps and inspires other people because it gives them ideas that they've never thought about. I know yesterday, what really hit me was I took my dog for a walk and we did more than just the regular route because I was taking that time for myself. And I don't know where you're located, but it was a beautiful, sunny, warm day here. And it was just taking the moment, opposed to me just, okay, I got to take the dog for a walk because, he's got to do his business and then I got to get back and, get busy doing work or whatever it was I was doing. Yesterday, I'm like, no, we're just going to go. I had my AirPods in. I was listening to a book that I'm reading. I was taking my time, but just feeling the warmth of the sunshine on my face and just taking some nice deep breaths was so nice. And I remember at the time thinking, this is part of self-care. You know, just slowing down and not having to be busy, and feeling that sunshine and smelling the fresh air and taking some good deep breaths and taking my time on the walk. It didn't have to be rush. That was self-care for me yesterday, and I loved it. It was beautiful. It just made me feel grounded. It made me feel more calm. So please share below, what's something you like to do for self-care? And maybe we can help each other with that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is seeking support. So whether that's, you know, talking to a friend, whether that's, you know, joining a supportive community like where you are right now, you know, maybe working with a coach. If this is something, if being a people pleaser is controlling your life and you're having a hard time, hi Yvonne, stepping back from that, sometimes it helps to work with somebody who can see the big picture, who can see the forest for the trees. Often we don't see our own triggers. We don't see these traps that we fall into. And when you work with someone else, they can help you do that. That's what I do with my clients. And we walk through very specific strategies that they can implement, you know, right away. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and she was questioning me, what's the difference between you and a therapist? Like, what do you do differently? And I've been to a therapist before, so I've experienced it. And I said, for me, and I'm sure I'm generalizing here, for me, what I do is more strategic and tangible. It's taking someone from where they are. And yes, sometimes we deal with the past a bit, but we're not reliving the past and all that. Hi, Monica. But it's taking the person from where they are and figuring out why they are where they are. And now how do we change those patterns and move forward? And what things can they implement in their lives? Like what strategic, tangible things can they implement in their lives right away to start changing that? So it's not talk therapy. So if that's something that you're looking for, that's not me. And I'm very upfront with that. But if you're looking for a solution-focused session, that's what I do. So as a people pleaser, if this is where you're finding yourself, that you're trapped in this circle and you just can't seem to get out, type me below. We can hop on a free 15-minute call. We can talk about the things that you can start doing to make changes in your life now. We can talk about whether working together is something you'd be interested in, or in how I could help you, what that would look like. See if we click. So if that's something that interests you, type me below. Absolutely, that's easy. You can hop on a 15-minute call. Again, I don't know where you are in the world right now. Total solar eclipse is happening in another couple of hours, depending on where you are. Sometimes, or for some people, it'll be partial. I'm starting to see some blue sky around here. It's been pretty overcast, so hopefully it will clear so we can experience this. Anyway, again, please drop below your favorite way of self-care. Would love to see that. If you want to connect and have a call, a free call, type me below. I can set that up. If you're watching this on the replay or you joined partway through and you can rewatch it on the replay, type replay below. I always keep these Facebook Live videos in the group so you can scroll back and you can look back at all different ones that we've done. Anyway, hopefully this has helped. Have a fabulous day.